Ryan is with us in Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, Ryan, what's up?
Hey, Dave. Hey, thank you for having me on. I'm a big fan and a long-time listener.
Thank you. How can we help?
Yes, sir. So I have two companies, both of which I own and been running for about 3 years. I'm in the treadmill operator phase for both. My first is a company that I make my living off of and pull my income off of. It's a gas line installation and service company. We install gas lines and gas appliances for propane and natural gas. Top line revenue for that company last year was $770,000. And I fluctuate between 1 and 2 employees. And this company takes up most of my time, most of my effort to run and operate. My second company is a product I invented and have a patent on that protects underground gas line and different underground utilities. Top line revenue with that company was $120,000 last year. This company, the way it works is I have a handful of distributors that use the product and sell it. It sells through well. But I just don't have the time to put into it to grow it that I would like. I do maybe a trade show a year and do what I can to keep up with the orders that come in.
On the $120,000, what was your cost of goods sold?
I have as far as net profit, I have it's about 20%. So cost of goods sold, I'm not completely dialed in on that number.
You're producing an item, are you not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So out of $120,000, how many units did you sell?
Let's call it, I'm sorry, I can't put an accurate number on it. I sell it by the pallet, and like I said, I've just been looking at overall net profit.
Okay, well, how many of them's on a pallet?
30 to a pallet.
30 to a pallet. How many pallets did you sell?
Let's call it close to 15 pallets for the year. Let's say that.
Okay, so 450 units.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any idea what you paid for those 450 units?
Well, it's a product that we kind of assemble and manufacture. I have a machine that I made for it.
Are you making them with your hands?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
So you're machining them and assembling them?
Yes. Yes.
So you buy all you've got right now is raw material cost. Then you haven't factored in your labor yet.
Well, when I tell you the net profit, it factors in labor and everything. Just because I use the one employee from my other company to help me make this product as well.
Do you physically make the product?
Yes, sir. We have a machine that we make it with.
Okay. All right. So you and the employee are in there making them and assembling them together.
Correct.
Okay. So you factored in part of the labor cost because you didn't pay yourself labor in that.
That's correct. I don't pay myself.
So you made $20,000 for the labor you put into it, so you broke even. You haven't made a profit yet.
Yes.
If we paid you minimum wage to build 450 of these dadgum things, you and another guy, you haven't made any money yet.
Just to be clear, the last year I really didn't make any much myself. I more or less paid the employee to make it. As far as the duties that I did is going to be the invoicing, the shipping, more of the, just the logistics of it.
Okay. What I'm trying to figure out is if I want to scale this, if I'm losing 20 cents a watermelon, I don't get a bigger truck.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. And I think you got to do some numbers crunching to get to the bottom of that. So, let's see, 10,000 would be 12. So you're selling these things for how much a piece? You're selling them by the pallet?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
And how much does a pallet bring?
It's right around $5,500.
Okay. All right. And all right, 5,500. Okay. So that's what you got to do. Start backing into some of these numbers and going, okay, if I get 5,500 for 30 of these and I sold 15 pallets, did I get those numbers right?
Yes.
Okay, so 15 pallets at 30. So I just take the 30 and the 15, the 5,500 and the 15, and I start looking, okay, if I do that and my raw materials cost is X and my labor cost is Y, that gives me my cost of goods sold, which is called gross margin. Your revenue minus your cost of goods sold on the item before there's any overhead, commissions, business expenses of any kind. That's called gross margin. Revenue minus actual cost of the widget. And the cost of your widget is labor plus materials. You got it?
Yes.
So you need to pro forma that out, lay that out, and then figure out, okay, that's my gross margin. And I put a little effort into it. I helped some in the shop. And even with counting that at zero, I only made $20,000. And so I've got about probably got about a 10% net profit running on this right now is all, which is pretty low.
Got it.
Okay. So I'm probably raising my prices for one thing. Is there anything you can do to the quality or the attractiveness of the item, or does any of that matter?
It's really kind of, it's more of a higher end product as it is. The competitor, the competition for this product is like a cheaper version of it. So it's more for, hey, this has like a utility of actually protecting the line versus, the other product only warns, it doesn't actually physically protect, the line in the ground. But they're paying more for it. So cost is actually like the main obstacle to the product, as far as selling it and getting the customer.
Well, that's because but it's you're not competing with the other thing because you're not the other thing. You have a complete brand differentiator already. You already told me what it is. And so then you've got you got to lay out your value proposition for your marketing and that's say, okay, the value of doing this is a certain amount and it only costs this amount. And so anytime someone's buying something, they put the item on, they put the cost and the time it takes to do the purchase and deal with the situation on one side of the scale, and on the other side of the scale, they put the benefit of buying it. And they only buy if the benefit tips the scale over the cost of the item and the hassle and the time it takes for the item.
Right.
And so that's a simple sales mechanism right there. So you're trying to say, on the right side of the scale where the benefits are, I'm going to put a value proposition that's so heavy that it looks like they would pay $55,000 for this instead of $5,500. And because they're so excited, this is the best thing since sliced bread. I've got to have this. And that's called selling. And it's not lying. You're showing them the true benefit of doing business with you and doing this thing. This is exciting, man. I think it's a cool idea. So what I would do next is bring in an upper tier person, not a top person, but an upper tier person, and I would want their job description to be developing new markets, selling. Okay? And you're going to need to sell more than 30 pallets of this. I keep getting this backwards. Was it 30 pallets or 15 to the pallet?
It was, around 15.
15 pallets, but 30 items on the pallet, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes,
so you're going to need to sell more than 15. If you sell more than 15, you're going to bring in more money than I'm already bringing in, and I will share a goodly portion of that till we get you up to making a living. So go get us a bunch of new customers, and let's talk through how to do that, and I'll walk with you. And if you need some help or you need somebody to go with you to talk to the customer or you need whatever, let's get this thing up and running and let's get some volume up, because only then can we make the adjustment on price and on production and put a full-time person in there building them. Because, you don't need 15 pallets, you need 150 pallets.
Right. And I will say, too, I think once production does go up, my margins will also go up.
Always. Yeah, they always do.
Yeah. I could buy more, my efficiencies would be greater, and so.
Your machinery to build it, everything gets more sophisticated, faster. The people doing it will get faster. You'll clean it up. You'll clean up your production lines. Right now, it's kind of like a big old batch of prototypes.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So I think that's going to be the key, so I think my margin's the weakest it'll ever be as long as I can grow it.
Well, only if you're careful about it. because people don't watch that. Inventors get all romanticized about selling this stuff, and then they get excited, and then they realize they're losing 20 cents a watermelon, and all we did is get a bigger truck. Don't do that. Make real sure you're running the business side of this pro forma too while you're doing it. But I think you're right. I think I'm raising my price to $8,000, and I'm going to bring somebody in and pay them $2,000 a pallet, and I want you to go sell me 100 of those and make $200,000 next year. And, oh, by the way, you're going to net more with that price raise and bringing that person in than if they do that, and you'll get all your efficiencies of volume going with it. The economies of scale will go with it. So, yeah, you're right on track to do that. But it's going to be bringing in someone that's a little bit entrepreneurial, a little bit scrappy. They don't have to have somebody hold their hand to make a sale. This is somebody almost that was in the same kind of business but failed, and they just want a new target. They're going to go off, so you need to aim them at something. This needs to be a self-starter, a lot of initiative. You can't babysit them. They got to go get it. They got to leave the cave, kill it, and drag it in. You put that person in there, and they go sell you 100 pallets. Now we got a business running that'll outperform that other business 1,000 times over, because this scales quick and easy once you get the sales model down, the production model down, and your pro forma laid out for actual margins. Now you can just turn up the heat, baby, and go. And that's your next step. I definitely would be doing that if I was in your shoes right here. Very, very, very well done, sir. Proud of you. That's neat. That's exciting.